Welcome, race fans, to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with Cam K and Graydon Bunn. True Canadian race fans. This show is presented by Remax Jack. Call Remax Jack and start to pack. Green flag is out. Let's get this podcast underway.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast with Cam K and Graydon Bunn. We don't have a guest this week. This is a little bit of a rarity for us, but you know the excitement behind that statement is that people are too busy to talk to us because they're busy prepping race cars, getting ready to go racing each weekend. So we're extremely happy. We did have a guest this week. He was unable to make it, but we got lots to go over here, Graydon, because one thing that you and I really love to do is just shoot the shit on motorsports.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that we got to do when we first started out the podcast, and then we started getting into an interview style format. But there's a lot of things that we are really excited about, because not just is it that the Canadian racing scene just got started. The APC season premiere or season opener was last week. Very, very fun to see them back. Pinty's is coming up really, really soon. We're going to be hopefully attending a lot of those races, at least half, maybe even more.
Yeah, we're shooting for half for sure.
We're definitely shooting for half. The Stickers and Scuffs team, which is myself, Graydon, and the Bunn Sons, maybe some honorary team members like Stephen Ellis, will all be able to go to the racetrack. We're aiming to be there for the season opener at sunset for the first two races. So definitely, guys, if you can, come on out to the racetrack and meet us. We'd love to see you guys. We're definitely ready to interact with the fans and take it back to the original name that we had with Race Canada and Mike Sullivan, and make it fan side, interact with the fans. So that'd be a lot of fun. Graydon, there's a lot that we could talk about because NASCAR obviously is going through a lot of changes all at the same time. There's two things that we could start off with, but I think we got to start off with the hot topic, not so much the week that was in racing. We got to start with the news that came out today that Atlanta Motor Speedway, a long-standing track, one of the longest in the series, is changing its configuration. And this means configuration change. They're changing the in terms of the size of the corner. They're changing the widths, which is something that I was a little surprised at. They're going from 24 to 28 degrees of bank. It's going to increase, I believe they said, the speeds. Something that we've seen, Graydon. We've seen it at Kentucky. We saw it at Texas. We've seen it at Bristol. Can you tell me one example of a track that actually this worked at? I know you know one. I really know more than that.
Yeah, I mean, Homestead, Miami, kind of, and maybe we can call the of Canada's track. I mean, it was reconfigured to today's modern standard. But the point being is, you're walking a very, by you, I mean, NASCAR or sanctioning bodies, tracks, the track ownership obviously are walking a very line of reconfiguration. But at the same time, and to your point, Atlanta is kind of one of the OGs in terms of intermediate tracks. I kind of thought, and there was a rendering, I think, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago, where they kind of teased about maybe putting it back to the old configuration and flopping it back. Myself, I kind of maybe, and that's sort of baiting to the nostalgic, and maybe they're sort of looking to the future here, which is probably a good idea. But narrowing the surface kind of surprised me when they're talking about increased speeds. It's, I don't know, read between the lines, take more that from what you will. It's an interesting concept, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays into the new car and all that sort of thing. Everything's just question marks now because the new car, the proof will be in the pudding, and we just don't know. we got to reinvent the wheel in terms of the car and the mile and a half if they're going to keep them, and they're going to keep them and keep them interesting. Make them interesting.
I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of faith, and I hate to say that, but
they set a low bar.
it really, it's true though, because we've not seen a ton of change in the last 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there really hasn't been a lot of change, and they're doing so much at the same time. They're doing this whole thing with California Speedway. I haven't seen one. Like, there's not been any updates, no pictures, nothing. Like, I thought isn't it supposed to be on the schedule next year?
Maybe that's what they want, though. Keep it under wraps and keep it the best kept secret in the Cup Series for a while, because that is a pretty big, going from a super speedway to a miler to a short track. I mean, in that respect, they got the right idea as far as I'm concerned. More tracks should follow suit, really. But
I'll be honest. Like, you and I, we've been fans of NASCAR for so many years. Atlanta Motor Speedway, to me, never. I don't know when it lost its excitement, but it did. And I'm a Harvick fan, but when Harvick goes out there and dominates by running the bottom lower than anybody else, that's not a fun race to me. You go back and there's a battle in 2001 where the cars are 3 wide. There's at least 8 cars in the lead pack. I think this is a move to make pack racing on intermediate tracks. It screams that they want that. And while I would be okay with that, I would, because I like pack racing, but I like it to a degree. I care about passing. I don't care about a train, which I'm afraid of seeing. I don't care about the big super speedway wrecks, it seems to be that's the attraction for people. I want to see a track that's going to offer something that we haven't seen before. And I almost wonder if this is going to end up being like a Las Vegas 2.0. You're making a really big corners, very banked corners, and then at the end of the day, intermediate track, like, I hate to say this, but intermediate tracks are not. I don't know why they bother. I guess is the key word, because they're not. And this is going to be harsh, but they're not going to fill stands like they used to. I'm sorry, it is not going to happen. The early 2000 crowds are not coming back, and they're never going to come back. It is not a stick and ball sport. It is not a sport where people are flocking to. And unfortunately, with the way that the world is, once it goes electric, you're going to get people that are going to be turned away from it even more, because it's not what it was. And NASCAR needs to forget about the crowds that they had in the early 2000s. That ship has sailed. They lost that crowd.
You're right about that. And they did, if I'm not mistaken, mention something not too long ago about an electric like support series or companion series coming.
Yeah.
So they're going to be struggling with their identity for quite some time. I mean, the whole evolution of the automobile, when it comes to racing the automobile, it's going to be obviously derived from, especially a stock car, if they want to keep it that way, it's going to be derived from what you see on the road in some form or fashion. So and that's not NASCAR's fault. I mean, this is the industry in general. So, I mean, they're not having an easy road to hoe as it is, just because of the transition of the world. How do you race cars that, I mean, at the same time, you can't unlearn aerodynamics and that sort of thing. So therein again lies the new car.
You're a driver. I'm not, so I can't really speak to it. But to me, in Canada, the Chevys, the Fords, and the Toyotas are not what people go to. They're not people's go-to cars anymore, and I think that's part of it as well. I don't. I always thought that there's like the cheaper option, the Nissans, the Toyotas, Mitsubishi or not Toyotas, the
Yeah, I don't
Mitsubishis.
throw those in there.
Yeah, no. Mitsubishis, Kia. Kia's a very popular one, Mazda. Those are the manufacturers that I think would bring a little bit more emphasis to this series, because at the end of the day, a lot of people cannot afford a brand new Ford F-150. It's just it's not that the race on Sunday, buy on Monday is not what it was. It's not going to be that way, because a lot of people, first off, have to buy within their means. And for a lot of people, that's a Kia, that's a Mazda, a Hyundai. Like NASCAR did this to themselves, because they had options years ago to bring in more people. They had choices. They lost Dodge again. They lost Pontiac. It is
the whole world lost Pontiac.
I friggin' that's why I keep if you can't see, I keep Kenny Schrader's car on my desk.
Yeah, you do.
Just so I can watch and look at this Grand Prix. One of my favorite race cars back of the day was the 2002 version of the Pontiac Grand Prix that they raced. And somebody put a video out on Twitter the other day about the Crank It Up from 2002. And holy crap, did a tear come to my eye, man. Those cars sounded beautiful compared to what we have now.
Like, yeah, I know. There's no comparison, that's for sure.
So we're not trying to talk crap about, NASCAR. We're still going to watch. We're still loyal fans. But at the end of the day, I don't know if reconfiguring it just, they're putting so much faith in this is going to solve it.
Well, as you said, and narrowing the surface, and I think I haven't looked at socials much today, but I think I saw our friend Cassie say something about it's
pack racing isn't always good
it's pack racing, but she says, like, it's side by side. It doesn't necessarily make for passing when you're narrowing up the surface, but like to bring in all those points, I mean, they're narrowing the surface, eliminating widths to make different grooves. So I mean,
I don't know, man. I feel
you can't pass judgment till you see it. But
Bristol, I don't want to see that. They ruined Bristol, and they always have ruined Bristol since. I've never liked the racing at Bristol since they did that, and that happened back in 2007. And it's just like they said it in their press conference a while back that they were going to focus on short tracks. Where the hell is the short track?
Yeah, we don't know yet.
They've gone road courses. They're
California
straight courses, but they're going to add one, because again, what does it all come down to? Money. They want ticket revenue. They think that they're going to get way more people to show up to Atlanta than, like, how awesome would it be if they got that crowd that SRX had at Stafford? Can you imagine?
God.
How loud the crowd would be. You can get so many good camera angles at a short track, right? You're not stretching everything so thin.
Yeah, just ask our buddy Joel and his team. I mean, that, like, you can get angles that the Cup Series cameraman would be jealous of. I mean, there's no comparison. Like, entertainment factor for TV production. I mean, you can do a much better job, in my opinion, and we're just laymen in that respect. But I mean, I think you could make one hell of a good TV production for short tracks, and to our experience, that's the case here in Canada. Well, even if it's a week old,
if we got that Fuel Media Lab production for the NASCAR broadcasts, we would be in so much joy, because that product that Joel puts on in his team,
that driver's mirror camera, come on,
so good. It's not the only news. Obviously, we had some really big news earlier last week. And this was actually a complete shock for me because I didn't see this coming at all. I had a belief that this team would be going at some point. I just didn't see it happening. And that is the announcement that Trackhouse had purchased Chip Ganassi Racing and that Chip Ganassi is going to be out of NASCAR in 2022. Trackhouse is going to take their charter. They're going to have a second car, but did not announce a driver, nor did they announce any sponsorship announcements. So there's a lot, I think, that we have to unpack here. Obviously, Graydon, we know the history with Justin Marks. He's a former Chip Ganassi driver, former road course driver, a great driver in his own right. He partners with Pitbull, and that kind of announcement was very late into the off season. So that kind of struck a lot of people, including us, like, holy crap, what's going on? Then there's talk that potentially Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, is interested in becoming a partner. Then you've got people that Pitbull is friends with that are interested. And now all of a sudden they're acquiring one of the longest tenured teams in the sport. I'm all for fresh blood. I think it's healthy, and we're going to talk about another potential owner coming up. But we know that Jeff Gordon is now back at Rick Hendrick. This is the switchover. Like, we've had an aging core of owners for a long time. Yep. Roush, Hendrick, Penske, Childress, Ganassi,
Sabatas.
Ganassi was kind of one of the younger ones, and now he's kind of out. But I think we've kind of seen this coming, Graydon. The performance, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't championship worthy. It hasn't been championship worthy. They lost out on Kyle Larson after all of everything that he did. Basically, the sponsors did not want him back, so they parted ways with Kyle. They got Ross in there, Ross Chastain, and Kurt Busch, but there's a lot of talk that Kurt is not coming back, Graydon. So we know Daniel Suarez is going to be there, but first let's talk about what your initial thoughts about this announcement. When I first time I remember texting you when it came out, because I was in shock. What did you think about it?
Well, I mean, I watched bits of the presser, and as Chip Ganassi said himself, the team wasn't openly for sale, but I don't know. I just have a picture of like Pitbull walking in there with like stacks of cash, just like throwing it around or whatever. But as you said, this is kind of the changing in the guard in terms of teams happening kind of before us right now. And yeah, Ganassi's not that long of a tenure but I mean, what a ride he's had, right? I mean, he's basically what's left of DEI and rolled into that. Like, that team has had in the time span of NASCAR, they're kind of a blip on the radar compared to some of the other teams, but they've had one hell of a ride, and now kind of Trackhouse adds to that. And yeah, I mean, look at Kyle Larson. Obviously, I mean, maybe he's honed his skills, or just even what he's done in his required and what he's taken on personally to educate himself and expand himself a little bit. And maybe that's made him a better driver. But yeah, let's face it, when he was in the 42 car, that's obviously that was holding him back, because look at him go in the 5 when Hendrick is back on top. He can basically do no wrong. So yeah, Justin Marks and Trackhouse, they have their work cut out for them, but it'll be interesting to see what all that comes with. Like, does that come with some of the sponsor, like the little Chip's little black book of sponsors?
I don't know.
Or is it a cleaning of house and just, I mean, this happens in the sport all the time, where you see like Shell Pennzoils was with Childress and Harvick for a long time. Then they jump over to Penske. Like, maybe we'll just see some sort of new business to business relationship build with Suarez is that CommScope. Like, who knows what'll happen?
Well, this is so interesting, Graydon, because
it is interesting.
I love silly season, but one of the problems with silly season of the last couple of years is that there has not been any sponsor moving There hasn't been number changes. It's literally been the exact same cars, switching drivers with the same sponsors. I'm sorry, that makes it boring. But
yes,
to me, I wonder, and what I believe is that 99 car will be fully sponsored next year. It's not going to have this week to week where they don't know. We know that Marcus Lemonis has helped them out a lot with Camping World because they didn't have sponsorship. I think that if Clover, and especially McDonald's, I really think McDonald's is a great fit because what is Daniel Suarez also associated with? He's associated
Coca-Cola.
with Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Marriage right there. Because what did you see with Bubba Wallace? Coca-Cola and McDonald's, they came together. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
So I like that combination. I think that second seat is whoever's got money. I hate to say it, that Ross just doesn't.
That's just the reality of it, man.
And he's unfortunately in the exact same position that he was 2 years ago, where he had a cup ride lined up. The sponsor went away, and now I don't know.
Now his owner's going away.
And I don't know where he goes. Like Chip Ganassi, people need to remember something. Chip Ganassi Racing, for a long period of time, Jamie McMurray's career started by winning in his second start for that team. Chip Ganassi Racing was a legitimate championship favorite in 2002 before Sterling Marlin got hurt. They were on their way to winning that championship. Then Sterling wasn't the same when he came back from injury. The team just tanked in success. They'll be known for bringing along Jamie McMurray, winning in his second start. They also brought along Juan Montoya, bringing him up into Cup Series, Dario Franchitti. We learned that those experiments don't necessarily work, but Juan Montoya won for that team.
Yeah.
So, and if you have my opinion, I think Dario Franchitti would have won if he had stayed in Xfinity only. He has done so much for this series. AJ Allmendinger drove for him in the Xfinity series.
Yes.
He had Ray Sorensen drive for him, Casey Mears drive for him, David Stremme, kind of
Mr.
mediocre
Excitement.
names. Jimmy Spencer was in there for a season in 2002. Not only that, though, he revived Jamie McMurray's career. If you remember how Jamie was running when he ran for Roush, he was on death's door because, he had won a race, but he was not the Jamie McMurray that everybody expected him to be when he was taking over Kurt Busch's ride.
That 26 car is terrible.
That was supposed to be his big break. He had huge sponsors, and it just crapped out on him. It didn't work. He comes back. He wins the Daytona 500. He wins the Brickyard 400. I believe he won the Coke 600 as well at some point. He won the All-Star race. So he's done it all since coming back with Chip Ganassi Racing. And we're going to see that team move on. I personally hope we don't see 99 and number 1 or 99 and 42. They need to make their own identity. It needs to be that way.
And I think they will. I think this is what you're talking about in terms, maybe like if they did, it would be maybe as like a tip of the cap to Chip.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the team itself was losing its like Sabatis's kind of feel to it was sort of gone. And
he's backed out. Yeah, he backed out pretty well.
But I mean, they're running the 42. But I mean, like it was. I think this, as you said, is kind of an opportunity, and you have like personalities like Justin Marks is. That said, though, 42 could be argued that it's special to Justin Marks.
Yeah.
So
true.
But it would be cool to see something neat paired with the 99.
Well, and Graydon, who's left? Who's left to take that seat? There isn't, like, there's talk that Kurt Busch is going to 2311. I think with that monster money, that's where he's going. Who else is left? Like, are we looking at, say, God forbid, Riley Herbst? Because he's got money. Brandon Jones. I don't even know if that's going to be possible.
Newman. I don't know if that's
I don't know if that's a good fit either.
It doesn't seem like a great fit to me.
Who theoretically
I don't know.
has the money to go in and take that seat. Because I only think like Trackhouse has Suarez, which I feel that's a fantastic. Ty Dillon doesn't have sponsorship, so I don't think he would be able to do it. So
I
it's
don't know. The
such a
whole
hard-
Trackhouse thing is a very, very interesting story.
I love it though.
I do
love it.
too.
I love it.
That's what is that's one of my favorite things about Cup right now is that
Yeah.
99 car. And Ross Lane, I don't know if and when he listens to this episode, we had kind of a spirited debate. And if you do listen to this, but it's no hard feelings. I mean, I think Suarez and that 99 team are capable of winning, and
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
they will do it.
And
Albeit now the caveat to this is when is it basically Trackhouse morphing into Chip Ganassi or the Trackhouse taking over Chip Ganassi and making it their own? Like
Well,
I just want to understand
they've
what they're going to do with that team.
they have been way better though, Greg. Let's be honest. 2311 has been awful this year. They have been way better than 2311.
Oh man, I took the wrong new team.
Yeah,
in my
I did too. Well, just in terms of who I thought would do better. Like I don't
Yes.
think it's on Bubba. I really don't. I feel like this is what we expect with another.
I think it's
Gibbs.
shared blame, honestly. Like
I think it's a Gibbs affiliate problem because I think that's what we see all the time. I don't think you can put that
it's
on
fair.
a brand new team deal. Like that's not the case. I do feel that this is an issue though with charters, is that
Mhm.
you're not seeing new teams coming in and adding to the car count.
That's right.
Replacing.
Yes, that's right.
So
it's not growing anything. It's
it's-
just they're cannibalizing each other.
Exactly. So this is going to probably be a problem in the future. I really don't. I hate charters. I just
It's-
friggin' let whoever.
It's top 35 2.0. It's dumb as hell.
Just let whoever. If you have 43 cars show up, let them all race. We're not going to get into that because I feel like we could.
yeah,
go
that's
on
a whole other
and talk
episode,
about
but
how
I feel you,
stupid
man.
that system
Yeah.
is. We have another guy who's done team ownership before. The rumor was out there. Brad Keselowski joining Roush to be a third partner, and I don't necessarily think this is a third partnership. I think this is a temporary third partnership, but an eventual replacement of a
A
team owner.
passing of the torch.
I feel like that's the way we're headed. I think with Jeff going to Hendrick, that seems like a passing off. I think Justin Marks, which I don't think any of us expected, but
No.
he's taking it from Chip Ganassi. They're
Mm-hmm.
passing on the torch. I think eventually Matt Howley will take the torch from Childress if Childress doesn't
Yeah.
want to continue, because they've been affiliated for a long time.
Yep.
I think that you're going to see as well that 2311 in a way, Joey Logano, Joe Gibbs with Denny Hamlin, that eventually could take over. So you
Yeah.
have so much of this happening. Brad
And
Keselowski
Penske has a succession, like they're an
that's-
animal of their own. Like it has a succession
It'll
chain
be-
a mile long.
it'll be Tim Cindric's team, I think,
yeah.
reality wise. Like
But
Jay Penske
Penske
will
will live
probably-
on forever.
Yeah, Jay Penske, I think, would be the person if they're going to keep it. But it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
there's talk like, oh, which is Cindric going to go to? Is he going to go to the 2 or the 20? He's going to one of those rides. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
We know he's going Cup
That's a
racing
fact.
next year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very impressive at Road America until his car broke. But Brad K to Roush to me is it. I'm not going to say it's disappointing, but I can't lie and say that I'm not really that enthused about it, only because I thought that, to me, when that ride became available at Hendrick, I really thought that Brad was coming home. And
It crossed my mind too. Yeah.
and he did. And to me, Brad was a good car owner. He had success. That team got success. They helped a lot of drivers. I mean, look at the driver caliber, that he brought in. Tyler
Mhm.
Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and Austin Cindric were some of his top drivers. He also had Daniel Hemrick. So all pretty solid picks, and they all did very well for themselves. I think they had a couple of drivers that unfortunately didn't work out, like Austin Terrio, where he just doesn't have any sponsors, unfortunately. But Brad K to Roush, Graydon, what do you think about this one?
It is interesting, and I mean that. I will reference Haas CNC Racing prior to Stuart Haas. Once they got Stuart in there with his people or contacts, it makes me optimistic that it won't happen right away. I don't think with Roush. I mean, they've been in a funk for years.
Yeah.
But I like seeing when you hear old stories, like the way the career path went, you didn't get to Cup till you were probably in your 40s and stuff like that. You make your money, you may put it right back into racing, or very, very few of them took it and saved it for their old age. Like a lot of those drivers that, if they're still around, aren't living in big mansions, or maybe the odd one is, but I like seeing it's identifiable to it. Like that's what sort of keeps it identifiable, albeit they got way more money than the blue collar folk, but like,
yes,
seeing them planning for their future and like, hey, I'm not just living to drive right now. I got to think about my family and what like, and just the sport as a whole, seeing it, that gives fan base some assurance that the sport will live on no matter what it's going to look like on the track. You're seeing the ownership group, like new ownership groups, take over the old ones and put their new spin on it. So I think Brad, with that, like his advanced manufacturing company, could be a very useful partner to Roush Fenway, whatever they're going to call it, Keselowski Racing. So to put it short, I think it's at the expense of probably on-track performance for a while, or maybe the duration of his driving career, that he's setting himself up to maybe make something and maybe bring a little prestige back to the Roush and Ford camp, or the Roush Ford camp, with the new incarnation of the team.
I feel as if, and this is, you and I are both Ryan Newman fans, but I don't think Ryan Newman's the same Ryan Newman.
His better days are obviously behind him, much as we hate to say that. And
he was a different driver before that wreck last year. Was it last year? Holy crap. Was it the year before? It was the year before? I can't remember, honestly. Everything's all blurred. But he was having success when he first joined that team. And then the wreck happened. And it hasn't been there. Chris Buescher, on the other hand, his success level seems to be going up. He's doing much better this year. But Newman at Road America was awful.
Yeah.
He was out to lunch. He was so slow. And that's not, I don't want to say that's an indication that his time is kind of up, but I think we're seeing it with Kevin Harvick as well, is that it seems to be that there's a light switch now in NASCAR that when your time is up, it's like you fade, and you fade really, really quickly. We saw it with Stewart. We saw it with Gordon. Saw it with Earnhardt. You saw it with Johnson.
It does seem to become glaring very quickly.
But look at the difference. If you go to IndyCar, Elio Castroneves won the 500 this year at 46. It's so different now. In IndyCar, it's like drivers are staying well into their 40s, where in NASCAR
they're going there for the fountain of youth. Like JJ jumped over there,
and I almost
Lazarus
wonder,
pond.
like I almost wonder if we're going to see that. Like I can't imagine. Like I really don't know. Would Kyle Busch want to be at 40 years old still in the Cup Series, or would he want to try and do IndyCar? Like I
think it depends on what, like you said, what his career path. Like if his wins start drying up and he becomes frustrated because he needs to win, and it's like he needs to, like it's good for his brain and his driving skill to be winning. And I think he would probably, before he would feel too old to go somewhere else, he would go and try it before it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. And I, Kurt Busch at his age, he's also starting to taper off. So we're seeing this new division. And listen, I think people laughed at Rick Hendrick when he started signing William Byron, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and then getting Kyle Larson. And now look at his genius. Anybody that doubted Rick Hendrick is learning right now that you can never, ever, ever discount him and that team.
No, not ever. He's always sort of ahead of the curve in like human resource management, or even like having psychologists talk to the drivers, all that kind of stuff. That Rick Hendrick was always like kind of a pioneer in different ways to just, other than nut and bolt ways to make a race team better. He goes deeper into the people and finds medical professionals or whatever it takes to get the very most out of everybody. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. We have a couple things like that we head into next year, and that's still, we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously we have news that Brad Kay going over to Roush. That means the 2-car opens up, which means there could be a move potentially there with Cindric or De Benedetto. We don't know. I also look at it and go, Menard said that they wanted to lower the amount that they were spending. So potentially, do they move Ryan Blaney to the 2 and then the 12 goes away?
Yeah.
And
that's always an option.
Cindric goes to the 21.
Yep.
The one thing that people aren't considering is there's a history with Brad Kay and Roush that people aren't connecting. And that's his sponsor. Discount Tire was with Roush for many, many years before they switched to Penske. Now, to me, I don't think they go with Brad. But there's not as much sponsorship on that team as people remember. That 2 team lost Miller, and that was a long-time sponsor.
Yeah.
They're not back. Like, we know that that's not happening. And the truth of the matter is, Roush's marketing is A+, because they've been able to get a ton of new sponsors to come in.
That is true.
On that 6-car alone. Now you switch in for Brad Keselowski. I think it looks a little bit better because Brad's had more success, although he has also struggled this year. Like, it's been a very weird year.
It has. There's people running well that you would not expect to run well. And that's what, frankly, I want to see in the Cup Series without having like a real ride or die anymore. That's what I want to see. I want to see people rising up and trying to take it to these guys. I mean, albeit I do like seeing Larson kind of putting everybody's money where their mouth. Like he's showing that he can, when provided a A+ ride, that he can do it. And now people are going to get to the point of bitching that he's doing it too much because he is just that good. And I mean, it's not just stock cars. He'll win in anything. So, I mean, people should really be embracing that kind of driving talent in multiple disciplines. Like this is kind of marketing gold right now. Like this is like a dream season for Larson.
Is he Kyle Busch from 10 years ago? Is he potentially a guy that could win 8 to 10 races a year?
Cup? Oh, yeah. Cup. I think he could do 8 races this year for sure. I mean, as long as this can sustain itself, they don't fizzle out and burn out. Like Hamlin's gone cold. Jessica's lost her points lead in the family pool and all hell's breaking loose, but she's still sticking with him.
Are you in last or have you moved up?
I'm still way in last, but don't even go there. But I mean, it's just a season where it's just nice to see people running up front that you don't like, just not the usual cast of characters. And like you said, Brad is running kind of,
he was leading. Yeah. Never expected that in a million years that De Benedetto would be leading on a road course.
You want to see one of the Bun sons freaking out watching that guy lay a beating on the road course, man. He was happy. Riley was happy to see Matty
He
D.
he didn't even finish that good though. That sucked.
No, that sucked that it
yeah.
didn't work out for him.
Road America was where we were just at. Obviously, if you're watching and you're listening to the podcast, we were a week after that. But I've got to ask Graydon. I love Road America. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the best road courses. The fact that we get a shout out. Sorry, I'm trying to move my cat off my desk. The fact that we get a shout out every lap at Canada Corner is great. I will say I thought it was a tad bit less exciting than Xfinity races there, and I think it's because the Xfinity drivers just go nuts on it. It had room to be better, but once Chase Elliott gets to the front, I'm sorry, folks, the game's over. This was shocking to me, Graydon, when I found out he's 3 wins away from the most road course wins in all of NASCAR. And he's going to get there. He's only, 20... I don't even know what he's... Early 20s still?
Yeah, he's definitely going to get there. And the direction
wins.
They're going with the road, like having more road courses, it's going to make that... This is a whole other conversation,
it's
too.
So good. Because, Graydon, I think you're going to get to this point, is that drivers coming up now have to be good at more than just ovals.
Yes.
They have to be good at road courses.
And you're going to see records fall just due to the fact of the sketch. Like that happens anyway, but like we're going from 2 shots at getting a road course win a year to multiple chances. And that's going to start not like skewing driver records and making, you're going to have to start looking at percentage of season to kind of make your connect the dots if you're a numbers person, if you will. Those
pennies guys are going to be in high demand. They should be, because they know street circuits, they know road courses. Get Gary Kloot back into Cup Car. Get Andrew Ranger, Kevin Lacroix, LP Dumoulin. Get them all.
Hell yeah.
Those guys
it'd be cool.
A Cup
Have
Car.
Some Canadians rounding through Canada Corner. Like that'd be an amazing race call right there.
we know somebody that's going to be connected with Rick Ware this year on the Pinty side. So I think we can definitely say that Rick Ware could be a source for these guys. Obviously, if he could get his equipment to be a little bit better, that would be great. But absolutely. And I think even just that is those LP Dumoulins, they're going to get the calls from the Cup guys because they teach road course racing.
And to your point, like Road America, I think is a really, really cool track. I love the elevation changes.
Love that. Crowd was huge.
Just an amazing crowd there. It was nice to see that, like the camera work showing that there was like all campers back. It really kind of made us miss that, I think, around here being at CTMP. But the track itself, and in terms of the race itself, like you said, it's not quite as compelling maybe as the Xfinity guys, because they do just seem to attack that 180 miles a lot differently.
Maybe it's
it could be that too.
Yeah.
I think it could be that too.
I didn't see the aggressiveness that you see in the Xfinity races.
Maybe it's just more, I don't know. I'm not sure, like the technical side of that, but I do know on a track that's 4 miles long and you have a guy like Chase Elliott who can work his way through the field and then get to the lead. Once you get out in front of everybody at a 4 mile track, you could be like, once you're setting your line, you could be, who knows how long before you would even catch lap traffic with everybody rolling the way they are. And they'd be so spread out at the back, you could just make fast work of them and blow past them.
Yeah.
So that's the double edge of it. Like it might not be as compelling of a race because the leader can just basically do a hot lap every time.
Exactly. And I think when you're talking about that, I think the Xfinity field is actually harder to get through. I think the competition
is too.
The competition is a little bit better.
I think.
Yeah. Where Cup there's 15 cars in Cup that are like going to be like 10 seconds slower than you anyways.
Yeah. So, I think there's a bigger spread in the equipment or talent gap, whatever you want to call it, in Cup, for better or worse. When you go to the Xfinity series, take 40 cars and 40 drivers that are every bit as hungry as one another and looking to make the name for themselves usually. And it's, I don't know, the Xfinity series just does it right.
So we're going to wrap up here, Grade, in our chat, our motorsports chat. It's like our mid-season update. It's July. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
First off, a couple rapid fire for you. All right. So your answer's got to go
Bring
quick.
it.
First answer that you come up with. Road America, should it be back again on July 4th weekend?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Absolutely. I don't, if I could put it in context, I just want to say that was something I wanted to get to actually. Sorry to pause your rapid fire, bud. You see the traditional people that love their Daytona, and I understand that, believe me. I mean, that's, I miss going to CTMP on May 2 for, and if that changed, I don't know what I would say to that either.
Well,
but
it's changing
at the
this
same,
year.
yeah, but I mean, if you were just to have a regular calendar season blown up and changed, I don't know what I would say to that. So, but I love road course racing. I love stock cars on road courses. I don't care who knows it.
Yeah.
Putting them at Road America. Yeah, you might see a leader stretch it out and gone, but man, you're going to see some good battles through that field. I don't care where you are.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with it too. I think like traditions.
I hate Wreckfest now.
Yeah,
Plate racings that's all it is.
I don't want to see it. It's like all I care about is watching a good race, and the plate races aren't good.
Cars barrel rolling and trashing each other is not my idea of fun. I love seeing road courses and guys rooting and gouging.
And there was a lot of passing that took place. Are we getting a fourth manufacturer announced in NASCAR by the end of next year?
I hope so. I don't know
you got to give me yes or no. Come on.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The new car will live up to expectations.
Whose?
No, the Cup car. Come on, the Cup car for next year.
Yeah, whose expectations? The brass or the fans?
Oh, I see. So it will live up to our expectations.
I think. Oh, I think there's going to be something to be desired.
Oh, NASCAR's changes to the schedule for next season are going to change again.
Yeah, I think keep it fresh. And if this car is going to be a key player in the future of the sport, let's shake it up and see what this thing can do.
A full-time Xfinity driver with sponsorship, a.k.a. a Justin Allgaier, a Riley Herbst, Brandon Jones, Harrison Barton, or did I say Justin Allgaier?
Yes.
Yeah, Michael Annett. One of those drivers is going Cup racing next year.
I got to pick one of them, eh?
You're just going to say yes or no if one of those guys with full-time sponsorship is going Cup racing.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Jesus.
I don't.
Cowlick Racing will win a race in their first full season in Cup.
They had a driver announcement yet?
They did. Yeah. Haley is going to drive the full-time, and Allmendinger will drive the part-time.
Excuse me. Like a yes man today. What the hell? Let's go. Yes.
Yes?
I feel like they
Jesus.
could their part-time schedule. They seem to have, they're impressive. I think they could do it.
We will lose at least 3 full-time drivers at the end of 2022 due to retirement.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We will get a surprise rookie contender for 2022.
A surprise?
So someone not from Xfinity.
Ooh. No.
Oh. Oh, I'm actually going to say yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. I don't know who exactly I'm going to think of right now, but I think it's. I think there's somebody.
I don't want to name names.
I think
Don't
there's
put me
somebody
on that
that's
spot.
technically in. That's technically in the truck series. That's going to make his way up there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Somebody in the truck series. One of the full-time teams will scale back another car for next season. It hasn't been announced.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Rick Ware Racing will show up with 7 or more cars next year.
Oh, I hope. No.
On that note, though, Rick Ware Racing's performance will improve in 2022.
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Let's try it. Like, shoot for less cars and quality over quantity.
Texas will be dropped from the 2023 schedule next year.
Texas, the Oval.
Texas, the Oval.
I can't see it
Okay.
unless Eddie Gossage retires.
Oh, wait. Isn't that happening?
Hell, yeah. Where is he at in his career?
We have kind of this next one. This is a hot ticket, buddy. Canada will get a NASCAR Cup Series race on the schedule for 2023. Obviously, it's next season. We already have the schedule pretty well for next year. So I think, don't we? I don't know when the schedule comes out.
I don't think they're coming here. Yeah. But
So,
for 2023, let's just assume that all this restriction and whatnot is over with. And yeah, let's have them.
A cup race. So
I feel like we've clamored.
Yeah,
we've clamored for this for so long, and the brass down south has to have heard us by now, and they also have to be thinking about getting a little more into Canada.
Where are they going then?
That's CTMP has to be in the conversation. If they were interested in working with IndyCar, it'd be cool to see him on the Honda Indy track. That'd be pretty neat. Cool to see a Honda Cup car maybe in the Honda Indy.
Yes.
But I don't know. That's wishful thinking. I would have to say it'd be between CTMP and the Honda Indy.
I think you are absolutely wrong. I think if they are coming up here, they're going to Montreal.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really.
Because every driver that we asked about that, we've asked that question so many times. Every driver's been like, Montreal. I want to go back to Montreal.
Well, if they do, let's get our tickets because I want to go.
Let's do it, buddy.
I should have said
we're going to end it with
yeah.
that mention because I love the Toronto street course. I love it so much. Norris McDonald put out an article about that, and he suggested you go to Indy Cars to CTMP and you put the NASCAR Cup guys on the street course. I don't know, buddy, but that's a juicy one. I
turn the racing world on its head.
I don't know about Indy Cars at CTMP. It seems too narrow of a track for Indy Cars.
That's my first thought. I don't know a lot. Like, I'm not very knowledgeable in IndyCar, but it seems
open-wheeled cars in that track don't seem like they fit.
Yeah, they seem like they climb all over each other.
Yeah. So either way, if you get Cup and NASCAR here at the same time, Toronto's already waterlogged as it is. We would be completely destroyed in terms of traffic. But I think I would love it. Yeah, I think we'd all love it if we were able to get something like that. We're out of time for this episode of Stickers and Scuffs. We want to thank you guys for tuning in each and every week, for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe, turn on the bell for all notifications. We're trying to get content out as much as possible. Obviously, we haven't gotten to the racetrack yet. That's where you're going to see some content, and we're really excited to be able to go there. Hopefully some more Bunsun interviews at the racetrack. Those boys are busy playing ball right now, just like the olden days we used to play ball outside. Get the stickers and scuffs gear coming soon. Yes, that's right, coming soon. Meet us at the racetrack. Definitely interact with us. We're all about it. All about meeting you guys, chatting up racing. We will see you guys next week, hopefully with a special guest. But a lot of people aren't available anymore. So we're going to hopefully get some great guests for you, and hopefully we'll get to see you all for the NASCAR Pinty Series opener at Sunset Speedway. Doubleheader. Love it. Oh, I'm so excited. And then, of course, just stay tuned that we will have our NASCAR Pinty Series preview show, which is coming up at the end of July. So make sure you guys check that out. Cam K, Graydon Bunn, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you all real soon.